All right, so something new that we're hearing about and we'll be hearing more about. Schools across New York State are now required to provide mental health instruction under a new law. This comes as mental health is an increasingly hot topic across the United States. We're joined this morning by Gotham, a licensed clinical social worker from Rochester Regional Health, explaining how to notice any signs of problems in your children, perhaps a little more closely than you may have in the past, right? Considering what we now know about children and the way they react to stress, right?
Yes. Yeah. And increasing stress in kids' lives. So back to school is a good time to kind of rethink about things and remind ourselves about what are some signs that we might see in our kids.
I mean, stress is a part of every day. Going back to school, a change. I mean, I get stressed out about thinking about sending my kids back to school. We know a certain level is normal. Kids are going to show some level of discomfort, but when is it too much?
Exactly. So you're exactly right. All kids are going to show a certain level. It's a change. They had a routine in the summer. They have to go back to this routine that they knew before. And so all kids are going to have some adjustment. It's when it really goes kind of beyond what you kind of know as a parent and expect that you start to kind of think about things, or if it goes on for a long period of time. So we expect kids to have a little bit of adjustment for the first couple of weeks of school. If it goes on beyond the first month of school, I think we kind of go, oh, wait a second, let's take a deeper look at this. Or if there's even behaviors that, like refusing to go to school altogether. Now, young kids, yes, sometimes they refuse to go to school. A middle schooler or a high school who's absolutely flat out refusing to go to school should signal us to ask some more questions.
Okay. So when you ask those questions, you start with their pediatrician. Is that maybe the best place to just begin the conversation?
That is always where I would suggest starting. Your pediatrician has known your child their entire life, so they've seen them grow up. Even before that, even to sit down with your child and say, hey, I noticed this. Am I right? Am I wrong? What's going on?
Yeah, just open that line of communication.
Exactly.
But some kids are going to clam up, though, aren't they? They're not going to be necessarily as open about how they feel, right?
Yes.
So the parent has to be a little skilled on how you ask that.
Yeah. You do. And as a parent, you do kind of know what works for your kids. I think some parents, my favorite with older kids is to get them in the car and you're driving somewhere, you don't have to look at each other, but you can talk to each other. You know, younger kids are a little bit different, but you know, starting with a conversation with parents and then absolutely pediatrician is the next best step.
How about employing? I'm thinking about the other people in kids' lives, because, you know, mom or dad doesn't understand. They can't understand my life, right? But an aunt, an uncle, a coach, maybe could you say, you know, hey, I'm concerned about you know, my child. Could you maybe prod them a little bit?
That's great. I mean, I think any adult that a kid feels comfortable talking to, if they're close to an aunt, uncle, coach, teacher, you know, schools really, in addition to teaching about mental health, schools have come a long way in the last few years about taking care of kids and their mental health. So there are really skilled people who are there to help kids in schools.
So, you know, with this new change, right, you know, parents how it will be implemented is the question, and how involved parents will be. So can a parent call the school and speak to the guidance counselor and say, hey, you know, have you, I guess I'm wondering how parents are going to find out maybe how their child is doing in school. Can they ask a teacher?
So you can call the teacher, you can call a school counselor, a school social worker, even the principal or vice principal. I'm sure that they would be more than willing to share the curriculum that they are going to be teaching, and it depends on the age level of the child. And then always, schools are very good partners with parents to have conversations about, hey, here's what I'm seeing at home. Do you see this at school? They may say, no, it's fine. Or vice versa.
Is there a time frame? I know, like, there's often a curriculum night in, say, mid-October or so.
Sure, parent-teacher.
But if you're sort of really noticing a change even after, like, by the end of September, is that too soon?
It's not too soon. It's never too soon. And I would rather have families ask questions and maybe inquire with a pediatrician or a mental health professional as opposed to waiting. You know, we would love to tell you, just hold on and everything's okay. I would rather advise parents to ask questions and seek help before before you think, rather than waiting too long.
So important. It's such a sea change in the way that we consider children in their stages that they go through, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Eve.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right.